And now it's time for your viewer comments. Michael Chan asks, what watch in your collection means the most to you? To me, it's this one. This Movado Museum. This is given to me by my wife in our anniversary, and this actually started me in watch collecting. I can say, actually, I still can't say watch collecting because I'm not really collecting watches at the moment in a way that it's curated. So let's just say this started me off as a watch enthusiast, and this will never leave my collection unless it gets stolen or unless my kids would do something about it when I die. That that went to a dark turn really quick. Razzie11 writes, how did you get involved in design and how did you begin? Sorry for my bad English. Well, it's not really bad English. It's very understandable. So, okay, so how did I begin? Actually, I'd like to think that I began designing at a very young age, maybe back in grade school, not maybe, but certainly back in grade school. I was an avid fan of Marvel Comics, and my favorite characters are from the X-Men, especially Cyclops. I remember him, he's my favorite. And since I was young, I really wanted to draw, and I've been drawing quite a bit, mostly comic books. Then I transitioned to Dragon Ball and Ghost Fighter, those kind of anime like Akira also. It was obscure back then, it wasn't as popular back in the early 90s. I would like to think that me and my classmate, my friend, were ahead of our time when it comes to being fans of anime. And now it's amazing how that blew up. But after that, I moved back to comic book when I got a little bit older, and I actually applied for DC and Marvel Comics. Of course, I didn't get accepted. DC Comics didn't even review my work. However, Marvel's now current editor-in-chief, CB Cebulski, he was a talent scout back in the day, gave me some constructive criticism about my work, and it boils down to that my art style, because it's anime, was not compatible with the house style of Marvel. So I don't have work for Marvel. I tried publishing myself. That didn't go well. I only published one one issue, and that's it. And I saw that, okay, this is really not for me. I got published by a small independent comic book in Chicago, but that's about it. That's about what my comic book career was. But then, in the 2000s, I went into video games and learned about Valve and how they're opening up their game Team Fortress into a marketplace. So we tried our hand on that. I learned 3D modeling, and I partnered with some collaborators, and I made items for video games since then. I partnered with Valve on Steam, and we partnered on Eidos, Activision, and Sony, to name a few. So I made virtual 3D assets for them. Another thing about that is that helped me create connections with other people, and that learning experience gave me the confidence to actually diversify and actually pursue arts even more, and I could actually see that there's something that I can do in that field. And that is why I went into YouTube during the pandemic. I made videos because it's something that I've always wanted. I've been editing videos when I was young using two VHS tapes, VHS recorders. From there, that's when I dove into watches, and many people, and like you viewers, are actually supporting me on that. And some of you, specifically the Wizard, saw the potential in what I do, especially with the arts that I make, and he partnered with me, and we actually created watch heads, and this watch heads is a creative way of expressing our watch enthusiasm using characters. So it's kind of like a full circle back to my former career or former field of expertise, which is character animation, character depictions, and comic books. So watch out for that. There will be launching our shop soon, and you'll hear more about Watchheads Inc. in the near future. Johan Kasumer asked, what is your go-to daily beater mechanical watch? The one that you can wholeheartedly abuse to your heart's content and you know it will be alright. Well, actually, I don't have a beater watch. I have a rotation, so I wear a different watch every day. But if there was one watch that I'm willing to bash around or like wear without any care, it's probably this, the AWM 500 from G-Shock. Now G-Shock, this AWM 500 is just gorgeous with all of that finishing, and it's so robust, it's so heavy, and you know it's G-Shock, so it's not gonna break on you, and that I have full confidence in using. Relad asks, hey, how does it work with reviewing watches? They send to you for free and you get to keep it in return for a published video? Any requirements to speak positively about the watch? Okay, so this is something that quite a few people ask, but I think this is the time now to actually mention it, or at least expand on it, right? So when I started my channel, I created a few videos about the watches that I actually own, because I know I have full reign about it, and of course they're G-Shock, so they're relatively affordable. So the whole channel was based around my current fold of G-Shocks, and I know that how many content or how many videos I'll be creating for that. But then I use those videos because you've seen in my earlier days how I already had the scribbly lines and the arrows and the blueprint idea on those early videos, and I showed those videos to other brands hoping that maybe they'll be interested in sponsoring me or collaborating with me for their watches, and happily some did. Now the deal was that I make these high production videos. I call them high production videos. They really are produced at a higher quality for my ability, but well, brands liked it, and the deal was that they will send these items to Aruba, which is a small island that I live in right now, and they need to cover the cost, and that is a very big limitation for many brands. But some actually agreed, so they send me the watch, they cover all the shipping costs, and I also asked them for me to keep the watch, and that overall arrangement will cover for the will compensate for the production costs. Now, not all agree in the same term. Some do ask for them to get the review unit back because, well, quite frankly, some of them are far too expensive to cover for the video production that I make. Some examples of that is Christopher Ward and some Zelos units. Now, I approached the good folks here, a local AD named Shiva's Golden Gems, for an unpaid partnership. Now, this deal that I went into with them was that I shoot and produce these videos, but in return, I make these videos into a version that they can show their clients. So I'm actually making 2 videos with some variations regarding the items, regarding the watches. Now this helped me to expose myself to other higher tier watches and brands that I would normally won't be able to partner up with. They're just too big of a brand to do that, like Roger Dubuis, Hublot, Zenith. These are the really high-end watches and even at some point I reviewed a Richard Mille and Vacheron world timer. It's really an amazing opportunity. I thank Shivas for that. They helped me grow as a watch enthusiast. Nowadays, I'm being approached by other companies and not just watch brands, but also some watch winders and watch cases. They've been approaching me, and I'm planning to review more of these products. So there's no shortage of content for my end. But the second part of that question by Bree is how I review these watches. Now, I generally am a positive reviewer. It's not in my personality to bash on a product or to say overly negative things about a subject or about a watch just to create drama or content or interest. I'm not like that. I'm a product designer myself, and I view that these products are a labor of love, even though some of them vary in refinement and in designer taste. However, I do say some negative things if there is some to say with regards to the product. I typically mention that to the brands as well, so that they are not surprised. They work with me. They often tell me, okay, that's fine, you can say that, but you could say this also. And basically that's the stipulation. They want me to mention the specific features of their watches, and that's nothing wrong with that. That's actually a good thing, because sometimes I do miss these features myself, and these are selling points to the watch, and there's no point of saying the bad stuff if you're not gonna buy it. And that brings me to my next point. I have rejected some brands because frankly I could easily see, okay, I'm not gonna be talking good about this brand, so why go with it in the first place? It's not going to be fun for me, it's not going to be fun for the viewers also. It's just a literal expose about the brand that I think you can find that in some other channel. That's not my channel. Also, I completely reject every single replica or homage watches that's blatantly copying other design, because quite frankly that's not their design. They're copying from somewhere else. So I don't want to do anything about those kind of stuff. Those replica watches, they're a no-no for my channel. Or not even watches, replica, anything. It's just a bad thing. I decline that every time.